So we're here in Cologne for with Claus Bachor. We're here for the...
I'm not the Bachelor, I'm Bachor.
Bachor.
Sorry.
Claus Bachor.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's get the basics right first. And we're here for the 20 years of Psycho Thrill party, which took place last night. And Claus, welcome. I'd like to ask you just a few questions. Let's start with the first one. So, it's 20 years of Psycho Thrill. How did it go last night?
I felt very happy about the appearance of underground resistance of the URD3 trio. This is stuff that I definitely estimate and like just all the time. That was my goal, to bring them back after 20 years. Missing them in Cologne when they first came up in 1991. This Rob Hood, Mike Banks, and Jeff Mills. So Jeff Mills just became something just like a Psycho Soul resident in the following years. I think he has played over 20 times at Psycho Soul. But I was also interested into the idea of the development of the new underground resistance sound, the more jazz-infected stuff, that type called high-tech funk or high-tech jazz. And due to the fact that there are also new releases out to cover that scene, so I thought, okay, why not bring URD3 that year to Cologne again and close the circle. So finally it was happening. It was a great night. I was really happy about the reaction of the people, and the set was really great. I think basically it was a real good party.
Can you tell us more about the night and how it actually got started? Can you tell us a bit about the history of the night?
The history of the night. So this is basically a rave club thing. So the rave club Cologne was in 89 was the first real underground club where I used to play house, techno, acid, but also rare groove and hip hop. Was my buddy and former colleague Roland Casper. So I think we were the first two early techno and house and acid DJs right there in Cologne. And later when the rave club got closed due to economic reasons, so the whole house was sold to an insurance company who did not want to have a club right there in. So we were developing new ideas. So the space club came up, the warehouse came up. So Roland was the warehouse resident, and I also used to play there for a half year, but I was not really happy about the more and more commercialized development of this club. Too many trance DJs came up there for my field, so I just decided to do my own thing. So it was the opposite side of the warehouse that became the idea of Psycho Thrill, to do only a real underground techno and acid and house thing. And so it went on for over 20 years. So we had, I think, all the big names from America, even if they came from Chicago, New York, especially Detroit. It was a main theme of the Psycho Soul philosophy, but also putting an eye on talents from the German scene or from the European scene. Also, we had British DJs. Like Colin Favor was playing a lot of times there. And we had Ben Sims, we had James Ruskin, Surgeon. So I think there were a couple more of UK guys, but I think hundreds of so-called big names just have played during the last 20 years.
Has there been any particular favourite DJs that you've had over the years?
Yeah,
too many.
No. So basically, there were only a few. People I also could say I have learned a lot from. There was Jeff Mills, definitely Derek May, Armando Gallup, and Colin Faber, yeah, he was really impressing me. Also Surgeon used to be a very good guy behind the decks. James Ruskin, yes. Also a few not so well known German colleagues, probably as I feel today, the young lads which are probably not to be, or which are probably not so well known, they're partially better than the established big names today. Yeah, so some things just have changed in this scene, and I feel that some of the big names, they have just become tired. So they.
It's like some new blood is sort of needed, or well.
So especially there's a fresh wind just coming from the Berghain, the Panorama Berghain.
Yeah, I've been there myself. Yeah, it's very good.
For example, but we have also small circles like the Cryptic Universe people in Dresden, for example.
Yeah.
I'm also working together with them. They have done a remix for the current 20 years of Psycho.
You're an ambassador for Detroit Techno, and of course you're a vinyl lover. It says it on the t-shirt.
Yeah.
And you've obviously been in the scene for a long time. So can you tell us more about your history? I mean, how did you get started in the scene?
Yes. So that's funny. So I grew up as a typical German boy living in the former capital Bonn, where I had a lot of people coming from different countries because they came in as ambassadors, bringing their kids to Bonn, where Bonn used to be the capital of Germany at that time. So I grew up with black, with yellow, with multicultural, infected scene, and that brought me into contact to different kinds of music. But the funny thing is, I also had cousins in Nuremberg, in the southwest of Germany, and they used to be close friends. They were older than me, with American GIs, and those guys brought from the PX store every month new US imports, 7 inches, and later 12 inches, with stuff like James Brown, JB Family, Parliament, Funkadelic, Barcase, Lynn Collins. So I got infected as a 12 years old boy with that kind of wax, and I started to collect from 1972.
Wow.
I was born in 1959, so I started to collect records, and it's became more and more
passion.
And I think I'm a real vinyl junkie.
I know, yeah. But why the? I mean, what swayed you particularly to Detroit techno? What was it that kind of captured you?
Yes, I was also very early interested into Motown sound, very gaudy, and so later I was buying naturally stuff like Juan Atkins, No Euphors, and even before it became entitled as Detroit techno, I felt there was something new just going on.
Just coming to surface,
Also, I had the same feel when Pavienka came up with his Magic Windows album, and there was a track on it called Twilight Clone. That was sounding just like an early techno track where no one was thinking about techno. 9 minutes hypnotic, trippy, running on track, and that was incredible. when I was listening and dancing the first time to this at the club, later, or 1 year later they came up Rocket.
Yeah, Rocket.
Yeah,
Classic,
and then you had the first Detroit sounds. Also, I'm not sure if I was listening to Charivari, a number of names, but there were similar sounds around also from New York, and then a couple of years later it came back massively, and I thought, hey, I've heard that sounds before, and it was interesting, where are they coming from? And then I think Nick Rudden from Network
Right. Network label. You mean the network label?
Yeah, in the UK. He was collecting the
network
first
records, yeah.
compilations about Detroit techno. Also, at the same time, we had the first US imports in Cologne in the record stores, and labels like Express, for example, they came up. Transmat, more and more records from Detroit came in, and I felt very familiar with that. Also at the time when we used to play at the rave club. So when I'm listening today to my old tapes or to the revamped tapes which have been now defined to MP3 files on SoundCloud, I'm listening to so many old Detroit tracks I was playing at that time. So it was something just like continuum till today, to include all the time Detroit techno tracks or Detroit house tracks. It just became something like a natural influence.
Yeah, like a natural progression almost.
Yeah. So it was not in that from a special kind of interest. I wanted to develop it. It came up naturally, and probably it was more recognized from the outside that people just called me a Detroit techno specialist, where it was for me a natural part of the music I was playing and I was writing about as a music journalist. I also just saw a strong relation between Chicago and Detroit, where there also was an exchange of DJs between those towns, or you had labels like Fierce, which were based in Chicago, but Detroit artists were releasing on it. And they were also entitled as a sub-label of KMS in Detroit. So there was there were different links and connections and breaking barriers, and that was also very interesting at the time.
And of course, as well as a DJ, you've now turned your hand to production, and you run your own label, Authentic Music. Can you tell us a bit more about that and the concept behind the label?
Yeah, so somebody just threw me into that kind of business. So when I was running the D2000 magazine, I had also connections to MPO pressings, which were advertisement partners of my magazine, to be honest, I think in 1999. That guy working at that time, he's now running Treibstoff Recordings, Marcel Janowski. He came to me, why not running a label? If you just do a club run, why not having also a label? So I thought about it. It would be probably interesting to have tracks on, and I had contacts to Detroit techno artists like Drivetrain from Soiree Recordings, Keith Tucker from Puzzlebox, and so on. So it was around I was not really thinking about. So I had tapes on my desk, and I thought to myself, okay, why not doing it? But I was not really into it. That came up later, when I have stopped the magazine and I had more time
with your hands
to concentrate on it. I think from 2003 or 2004 on, I was developing more a real idea about my labels. Before it was a general techno label, then I decided to have Cyclosville as a techno or acid or Detroit techno, Chicago orientated label. Later then came Authentic Music as a deep house, and now also dub techno orientated brand or imprint. And also there's a new one called Skies Ablaze Recordings, which is covering more the global aspect of broken beats.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Break
beats, a little bit drum and bass, a little bit IDM, and also, which I really love today, very much dubstep or half step. There are more and more projects coming up for the next year, and I think this is a very good combination where people they want to have a straight lead to a special kind of direction. If you are covering too much direction with one label, it's sometimes difficult for a user outside to recognize or to feel really about the idea of a label. So that was my intention, to have 3 labels for different sound streams, and I think it's working well. Psychosoul is not a big selling label; it's more like a collector label. Also the sub influence. So all the time reach my break even. I'm not making big money with it, but I know there are several people around who definitely know about the idea, who love the sounds, and they definitely buy in a way that I can make my plans or my economic planning with a label without any risk.
Claus, it's been a real honour to interview you. It's been really interesting, and I'd just like to wish you all the best for the future. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
To talk to you guys. Thank you.